Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity of giving the lecture that summarizes 10 years of my research on complexity, diversity, and homogeneity measures in the evaluation of tumor aggressiveness in prostate carcinomas, one of the most common human malignancies with both diverse and changeable course of the disease. My talk will comprise 3 parts. That is, the philosophical one, the theoretical one, and the experimental one. I will recall briefly the most important findings presented during the first conference in Bendlevo in August 2014. Then I will show some novel results. 3 of those findings are particularly important for the development of digital pathology. First, the quantitative criteria for the evaluation of tumor aggressiveness of prostate carcinomas based on complexity and diversity measures form a solid starting point for more advanced clinical and pathological studies. Second, the algorithm mapping the local connected fractal dimension in images of prostate carcinomas enables assessment of the risk of metastasis formation. Third, the Fibonacci constant determines the limit of self-organization of epithelial cells into tissue structures of the higher order, such as glands. Hence, the coefficient of cellular expansion can play a role as a novel quantitative measure of tumor aggressiveness. This parameter describes quantitatively how far from the ideal, let's say golden, tissue structure is the altered structure of glands or infiltrates present in malignant tumor. Tumor pathology is one of the cornerstones of modern oncology. Before any treatment of cancer can begin, a histologic evaluation of tumor tissue must be done. This wouldn't be possible without a question that in the beginning of the 17th century raised Galileo Galilei. What happens if the system of the concave or convex lenses in a telescope will be replaced by a set of the convex lenses? In consequence, the first microscope was constructed in 1610. The magnification of 270 times was achieved at the end of the 17th century, owing to the efforts of giants in science and engineering, such as Robert Hooke, whose portrait, drawn in 2004, can be seen in the middle of the slide, or Antony van Leeuwenhoek, see the portrait on the right. The fundament for a search of alterations in normal tissues caused by a variety of factors was laid down. About the same time, 2 outstanding thinkers, Francis Bacon, the portrait on the left, and René Descartes, the portrait is shown on the right, laid down a fundament for natural sciences in the form of both the principle of the inductive and deductive reasoning. Since that time on, objectivism is a fundamental ontological principle in natural sciences. This is a position assuming that the existence of an object or a phenomenon is independent of the observer's mind or view. Their reality can be investigated in an unbiased way by some verifiable methods such as statistical analysis or mathematical reasoning, and described by a number of complex mathematical concepts. Thus, objective information is provable, measurable, and observable. Scientific procedures are standardized, frequently automated. The consequent application of those rules resulted in the impressive explosion of great discoveries in natural sciences. Tumor pathology is clearly an exception from those rules. Since the very beginning, information obtained from microscopic evaluation of complex histological images has been based on the subjective experience of pathologists. On the slide are shown the known patterns of growth in prostate cancer. They are systematized in the Gleason scoring system. That system possesses well-defined morphological criteria based on the alterations from the appearance of the normal prostatic tissue. The symbol GS0 denotes benign prostatic hyperplasia, since there is no normal epithelium at the age in which prostate carcinomas appear. The consecutive images show prostate carcinomas with both the increased growth and differentiation aberrations from well-differentiated, low-aggressive tumors classified as Gleason grade 1 to low-differentiated, high-aggressive carcinomas with Gleason grade 5. That set of images is a frame of reference used by pathologists in the evaluation of tumor aggressiveness of prostate carcinomas. Even though pathologists attempt to systematize the process of diagnosis using some well-defined morphological criteria, their evaluation is burdened with a large intra- and inter-observer variability, reaching a level of 40 up to 80%. Similar values were reported for the other carcinomas, such as colon ones. In addition, the subjectivity not only impoverishes information present in the final pathological report, but also omits some image details that might possess clinical significance. Indeed, matching of the images of the real carcinoma case with the images of the frame of reference is not an easy task. One must realize that human eyes and mind are not very precise tools for image analysis. This can be seen very well in borderline cases, in which optical illusion may make the proper evaluation very difficult. Let's do some tests. Can you evaluate this image and say which of the two intervals is longer? What do you see on that image? Spiral or a set of circles? This is a set of circles, of course. And how about this image? Is the surface in front of the trade fair building in Vienna in Austria flat or folded? Indeed, pathologists deal with very complex histological images, as those shown on the slide, where some details, such as the number of infiltrating cells and number of glands, their shape, size and distribution, play a very important role and may make a difference between the stratification of the case into the category of low, intermediate or high aggressive carcinomas. The low aggressive carcinomas do not need to be treated at all because the risk of metastasis formation is statistically very low. The active surveillance is sufficient. The intermediate or high aggressive carcinomas may form metastasis within weeks and therefore one must initiate the therapy. All the above-mentioned features can be evaluated objectively by the appropriate computer algorithms. In the presented cases, the application of the local fractal dimension and the local connected fractal dimension help to classify the cases unequivocally. Those images show that the subjective Gleason scores 3+4 and 4+3 are not identical, although their sum is 7. The values of the local connected fractal dimension in the two cases shown at the bottom are significantly higher than in those above, indicated increasing crowding of the infiltrating cancer cells. The identification of patterns of growth in prostate carcinomas, as well as the discovery of some association between those patterns and the course of the disease, is certainly a great achievement of tumor pathology. Using those associations, so-called prognostic classes were introduced during the last modification of the Gleason system in 2015. One gets an impression that tumor structure is the only factor influencing the course of the disease in a deterministic manner, and in consequence the fate of patients. However, the fundamental weakness of this approach has not been removed. The evaluation of tumor structure is performed purely subjectively. Also, the accuracy of more advanced statistical model of tumor progression risk assessment that is based on three elements, that is, on tumor node metastasis staging, PSA concentration, and Gleason score obtained by the subjective histological examination of surgical specimen, is rather low, about 70%. In consequence, on one hand, some patients with highly aggressive prostate carcinomas with Gleason score from 4+4 up to 5+5 can live over a longer period of time without the formation of distant metastasis. On the other hand, some patients with low aggressive carcinomas graded with Gleason score 3+3 develop metastasis in a short time. Rudolf Virchow, a renowned German pathologist born in Świdwin in western Poland, was the first who noticed that cancer is not just a local tissue disorder, a typical viewpoint of the contemporary genetic reductionists. Tumor growth occurs, according to Virchow, within the hierarchical structure of the organisms and is subject to a variety of complex neuroimmunohormonal interactions. Those interactions influence tumor growth its metastatic potential, and the capacity of the organism to survive. Whether one chooses some local therapy, such as brachytherapy, in which radiation delivered to cancer cells within the prostate is so strong that no cell may survive, or the radical one, such as surgical resection of the entire prostate, the recurrence rate is at least about 30%. This means that cancer cells metastasize very early, although interactions between prostate cancer cells and immune system seem to be weak. Those cells are hormone sensitive, cease or continue their growth depending on the local tissue conditions. The role of nervous or muscle system in tumor progression has not been recognized yet. There are data suggesting that enhanced muscle activity, relax, and even prostate inflammation reduce the risk of tumor progression. Also, age plays a role, with the risk of progression about 20% lower for patients about 50 years old, in comparison with patients about 70. Unfortunately, there are no statistical models that would incorporate all those factors together. I started a search for a solution to those problems, investigating complexity of primary prostate carcinomas. First, I constructed a fractal model of patterns of growth seen in prostate cancer. This model is based on three circular fractals, marked as CF3, CF6+0 and CF6+1. The model enables a precise analytical calculation of the global fractal dimensions for the infinite circular fractals, a computation of the fractal dimensions for the modeled patterns of growth, and a validation of the software for the analysis of images of prostate carcinomas representing all Gleason scores. The pattern with the Gleason score 3+3 is defined as a set of irregular and branched glands of different sizes. Cell nuclei are here several-fold smaller than glands. There are no infiltrating cancer cells. The geometric relationships of that pattern represents the circular fractal CF3 or CF4, in which circles of different sizes and colors corresponding to the consecutive iterations depict a variety of gland sizes. See figure on the left. The pattern with the Gleason score 4+4 is defined as a set of small, less irregular, circle-like glands with a component of cell infiltration. Cell nuclei occupy a significant part of the gland-like structures. That pattern is represented in the model by the circular fractal CF6+0. See feature in the middle. The pattern with the Gleason score 5+5 is defined as a disordered cell infiltration without gland-like structures. That pattern is represented by the circular fractal CF6+1. The dots that mimic cell nuclei cover almost the entire surface and leave a minimal amount of free space. There are no gland structures. See the right figure. The global spatial capacity fractal dimension D0 for those fractals are well known. Using this fractal model, the proper software, Benoit version 3.1, was identified. The software was applied to determine the values of global fractal dimensions for the finite circular fractals. The mean values shown in the table guided the further measurements of the fractal dimensions in the digitalized images of cancer cell nuclei, isolated electronically from the images of prostate carcinomas. They helped to establish interval limits for each pattern of growth. It should be noticed that the circular fractal model indicates that the hexagasket finite circular fractal CF6+0 and its neighbor graph are topologically identical, what implies that some subset of prostate carcinomas classified subjectively by pathologists as the intermediate aggressive tumors